All right, welcome back. And today is an exciting lesson for me to get into with you because it's our patented VPC method. Okay, this is a methodology that me and my wife came to by accident. And it's really all about making sure that you can get the lowest cost per acquisition on the back end by doing a couple of things on the front end that people might not be willing to do. You're going to see when we walk through this process how simple it is for you to be able to start building up a segmented audience, an audience designed and really created and put on this earth for you. You're going to see how to actually get them to be attracted to what it is that you're creating. You're going to be able to use that information and use that pool, that sphere of influence now to generate lower cost leads and more sales for your company and your business. So again, Brandon Northwick here. I'm excited to share with you the VPC method. And the first thing that we have to focus on is going to be the value bucket, okay? We're going to break this down into three separate buckets: the value bucket, the pitch bucket, and the close bucket. And when we get done with this, you're going to see everything how it's put together and exactly why it's going to be helping you across your entire sales process from now until as long as you're in business. So first thing we got to worry about is what's going to be inside this value bucket. Well, the first thing is going to be following the Eddie principle, okay? Basically what we want to have in there is education, demonstration, information, or entertaining stuff. Anything that you're going to create right now that's going to fall into one of those four buckets, by all means, let's get this out there into the market, okay? That's what we're looking for, is following the Eddie principle. Now, we didn't make that Eddie principle up. We're not that savvy. Come on now. We don't reinvent the wheel. What do we do here? We teach you how to actually find stuff that works, then model that to your own advantage. So what we're looking at here is using this. This is from our good friends over at Digital Marketer who came up with that principle, the best that I know of. And what we did is we just borrowed it to be able to really launch our VPC method. So in order to be able to get this going and understand what kind of value you're going to provide to build that small audience, you're going to be looking at how-to videos, testimonies, articles, PR, and lifestyle, okay? You're going to be looking at building up your brand awareness. All that is going to funnel down into your brand awareness, which in turn is going to help you compete against the big fish. How cool is it that in 5 years from now, or even a year from now, you start doing this today, nothing else is going to matter as far as, you know, who's coming in and out of the market, or is CNN dumping $100 million into Facebook advertising over the next 12 months? Because if that's the case and that's going to affect you, your costs are going to go through the roof. So what do we have to do? We have to offset that by, again, betting on yourself to be in the game long term. Everybody who avoids this is looking at short-term strategies. They're thinking, well, you're not going to get sales now. I got to get sales now. Well, what about being able to prepare yourself for 2 years from now or 5 years from now? This one step's going to help you do just that. That's how important this is. So when you think about what you have to put inside this value column, it's all about education, demonstration, information, or entertainment. You're going to be able to do this with your market. You're going to put yourself specifically in that segment of your market that you've identified as going to be the best for you at that time for that product. And we're going to start to just follow that Eddie principle, follow these the testimonies, share all these things with your market, which is going to help build up that brand equity, which is going to help move us to step number 2, which is the pitch bucket. Okay, so inside the pitch bucket, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be filtering them down into what we call lead generation. I'm sure you've heard that term before. So what we want to do from here is create an engaged lead base. Okay, an engaged lead base. We're not just going to have some people who would be on a list. We're going to have some people who have already given you their time and attention. You can see that this flows into this. We have one that's going to flow into the other, which is going to flow into the other. We're going to use the audience you just created to start running lead generation to. This way, the funnel you create is going to be only served to the people who have already given you their time. Now think about it. You can create checklists, guides, you could create case studies, webinars, anything that's going to be able to build up that curiosity. Now what we have for you inside the Resource Center is going to be that the Situations and Solutions exercise. When you go through that exercise, you're going to be able to see exactly how to provide those solutions to your market. Each solution you come up with is going to be guess what? Could be used as a lead generation tool. So a quick way for you to think, what can I do to build up leads? Well, go through that exercise. You're going to come up with about 12 to 15 different ideas. And once you get those ideas on paper, start to get to work to architect them out, put them into a funnel, following the methods we teach inside the academy, and you're going to be able to be on your way. So then we want to be able to understand that after we get the lead generation going, right now we're in that pitch phase. So we've generated a lead, we've pitched them to come into our list. Now we start the sales process. We start the indoctrination process on the back end, okay? So this is where we want to make sure that you just went through that behaviorally dynamic marketing, the bulletproof follow-up module, just a few lessons ago, right? Once you go through that, you're going to see that at the back end of this is where a lot of the magic happens, right? This is where we get to touch them multiple times with goodwill and sales sequences and surveys and get them on multiple lists and goodwills or webinars and all kinds of things and on social media, right? We get to build up now a relationship once we get them here. Well, once we get to this point, imagine how much warmer are these people now. They've seen your videos, they've watched your stuff, they've been engaged with your business page, they've opted into your list, and they've given you their name and their email. And now you're going to go ahead and shoot them with the direct sales campaigns. Now is when you've earned the right to go ahead and close them, okay? This is where you're going to remain relevant the most often, because you came through and indoctrinated them. You've given them the opportunity to know what their problem is. You said, look, here, I know what your problem is, and here are some cool ways for you to solve it for free on the house just to show you that I care. Oh, by the way, here's some more, I guess, advanced techniques that you could use to get that same problem or another problem solved. Okay, good. Now I got your attention. Let's go ahead and solve this problem together. Or here's a product to help you solve it on your own even more, right? And this is the actual trust ladder for you to know that when we walk them through the value pitch close method, you're going to be able to, by the time they get to this point, have such a relationship with your market that you can now know in the back of your mind when you launch these campaigns, you're going to be paying a lot less for your lead over here and for your buyer over here than somebody who's just running traffic directly to try and close. You're going to see that their numbers are nowhere near your numbers, that their relationship with their market is nowhere near your relationship with your market. And it's going to take some time to build it up. It's going to take a lot of time to build it up. That's why we call, the VPC method isn't an overnight method, okay? You have to know this is going to be able to build up time here, right? You're looking at, depending on your budget, put in a good 30 days to 90 days over here to be able to just see what kind of audience you really want to go ahead and start creating content for, because you might create content for 10 or 15 different segments of your market to find out that only 2 or 3 are really giving you their attention. Then you can go ahead and start, once you have that information now, you can start to build up your lead magnets based off that data. Once you have that group of people now inside of your market that you know you're creating content for, that's also giving you their name and their email, do a little more research and start to create offers to entice that specific group of people. Now you've got a solid way for you to get low-cost leads, low-cost sales, build up an audience, and future-proof your entire business. All right, so now it's time to get to work, start creating the ideas, start going on to the next lesson only after you've identified what you're going to create as your value piece and then what you're going to create as your lead magnet piece before you move on to the next lesson. All right, but when you do, I'll see you there.